Hello, everyone. Got to work on that fade out. Welcome to episode 9 of YEG Pivots. Today is July 9th, and I'm your host, Ingrid Schiffer. We've got a great show lined up for you today. Very excited for our guests. Lots of great information. I just want to tell you right now, if you have any friends that own businesses, make sure that you're sharing these videos with them. Today, we have some great information for some programs that are going to be available or that are already available for business owners in Edmonton. So anyway, very exciting stuff coming, and be a good friend. Share this show with your business owner friends and get the word out there that these episodes are not just full of inspiration, but also innovative ideas and great uplifting stories of success and through struggle and as well as many opportunities to take advantage of programs and supports that are in place for the businesses in our community. So on that note, I'm very excited to welcome our first guest. We have Yvonne Pronovost. I'm going to just go ahead and let her in. And Yvonne is with the City of Edmonton. And Yvonne, are you there? Hello, Yvonne. Can you hear me?
I can. Hello.
Wonderful. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. How are you today?
I'm really good, thanks. How are you?
Good, good. I'm just trying to figure out where to look. I have so many.
Oh, I know the feeling.
Oh my gosh.
All the time. All the time.
And so speaking of a lot of things going on, let's start with the many things that you, are in charge of or work in. I was doing a little bit of, pre-interview research, and folks, listen to what Yvonne has under her umbrella of responsibilities. So we'll be talking about the small business grant, but you also are involved with the storefront improvement program, development incentive program, the local economy, economic and environmental sustainability, urban form, and corporate strategic development department.
UFCSD.
Did I miss anything?
No, I'm not. I'm the program manager for the storefront improvement program, the development incentive program, and the economic recovery grant programs.
Okay.
And I'm part of a team that is involved with supporting the local economy and doing all these other wonderful things.
Oh, that's amazing.
So it's not just me.
No, it's a team, but still, that's incredible. And it must be very exciting, a very dynamic environment to be in these days when really business owners are just in that crux of challenges and new adventures every day. So tell us a little bit more about this small business grant, if you don't mind diving into it.
Yeah, let's do it. So the economic recovery grant that was approved by City Council the beginning of June. We launched it June 15th, so it's still pretty new. The purpose of the grant is that it's really intended to support the short-term needs and longer-term recovery efforts for Edmonton's businesses with some financial support. To just put it out there. It's a 50-50 matching grant. So what that means is when a business or an organization gets a grant, let's say it's $1,000, we do expect that business or organization to put in $1,000 of their own funding to match that grant. So the final product is $2,000 or more. There's two streams as well. So the one you're probably more interested in is for individual business grants, also known as the city stream. And these are micro grants for business owners to help them relaunch with the relaunch and recovery efforts related to COVID. So these grants are, the vast majority are $1,000, and they're really just a little boost to help businesses relaunch, because these are, as you said, these are pretty tough times for a lot of people right now. Yeah. And then the second stream is called the business association stream. And this is financial support for business associations who are wanting to start some sort of program or project that's aimed at business owners, again, helping them with their COVID recovery efforts. We know that we're not, here at the city, we're not, we don't know everything when it comes to businesses. We know there's a lot of really excellent organizations out there that already provide support. So again, we want to just give them a little bit of a boost.
Well, that's awesome. Now, word, I'm guessing, is just getting out about these programs, and hopefully this show will be able to kind of get that word out there in front of the business owners that need to take advantage of something like this. Can you tell us a little bit about what can someone do in applying to ensure the best possible outcome? What kind of tips might you pass on to business owners when looking at taking advantage of this program?
Yeah, so when someone applies for the individual business grants, we have intake periods every Monday, starting right at 9. There's a lot of demand out there, so I would advise people to get there to click that apply button right at 9 in the morning when it goes live. We have the questions available that we ask and all the information that we require. That's available on the website. So I'd encourage you to take a look ahead of time, prepare your answers so you can just even copy and paste them into our form so you can get that in. And I would also advise business owners to take a look at our eligible and ineligible costs, because we can't unfortunately fund everything. There's a lot of other government programs as well that are providing financial support for things like wages and payroll or rent support. So we unfortunately can't support businesses with those costs. But for example, if a business needs some help financially to buy sneeze guards or get some training for staff or something similar to that to help with their relaunch and recovery, those are eligible costs. It's just things like payroll or insurance or permit fees or rent that we unfortunately can't help out with.
Right. As you mentioned, there's other programs that are assisting with those areas. So it's just eliminating that overlap.
Yeah. I encourage everybody to take a look at the programs that the federal government is offering. And the provincial government has also just launched a small business grant. I believe it's called the Small and Medium Enterprise Relaunch Grant. And they offer small micro grants as well to Albertan business owners who are struggling because of COVID. So I tell everybody, check it out. There's lots of different ways to help your business. So I'd encourage you to check out all of them.
Now, quick question, Yvonne. You had mentioned, that the information's on the website. That's where they would go to apply. For those who might have missed the link, and I'm sure we'll be sharing it later on our page, but could you just go ahead and let us know, is it a separate website, or? It's
on the city website. So you can just go to edmonton.ca/business grants. Real easy. Just edmonton.ca/business grants. Go to if you scroll down on the website, you'll see the pages for both the business association stream and the individual business grants or city stream. So go to the individual business grants. There's a big banner at the top that says, it'll let you know when our next intake period is. And like I said, that's on Mondays.
Right, every week. And so how long is that running for? Is that indefinitely, or?
Well, we do have a limited budget, so can't let it go forever. We have 2 phases for the program, though. So our first phase runs to the end of the year. And then we're going to have a phase 2 for next year. So right now we're anticipating all of next year. And the reason why we have 2 phases is, as you know, with COVID, it's so hard to plan ahead. We don't really know what's going to happen sometimes, in the next couple of weeks, let alone the next couple of months or 6 months.
Very true.
Having those 2 phases allows my team to take a step back at the end of this year and say, okay, what do we need to do to maybe change or improve these programs to make sure that they're still meeting the needs of business? Because it might be completely different at that time. And we want to make sure that whatever we're offering is relevant and useful.
Well, I think that makes a lot of sense. And, it's great that you guys are going to be kind of responsive to what learnings you're getting from the remainder of this year, kind of applying it forward. So good on you. That's great. Now, not that we want to focus on it, but is there any type of business that need not apply? Like, is this not eligible for, I don't know, is there any criteria that just doesn't?
Well, not really types of businesses. Like any type of business can really apply. What we do need to see, though, is that it has to be located in Edmonton. And we have to have a City of Edmonton business license there if you need one. So there's some businesses that don't require a City of Edmonton business license, but there's some that do. Okay. If someone's not sure, please call 311. If you call 311, they'll put you in touch with the business license team and they'll be able to sort that out for you so that you're all ready to go and you've got everything lined up for when you apply.
That's awesome. And then if someone were to have any additional questions that maybe aren't answered on the website, is there access to someone that can kind of give them some guidance, or is
Absolutely.
Yeah? Would they call you?
So unfortunately, I can't take a call from everybody. We have, last intake period, we had 100 applications just on the Mondays. So I unfortunately can't speak myself to everybody, but you can email myself and my team at businessinfo@edmonton.ca. And there's a whole team of us that are waiting to help specifically about the grant. And I would be super remiss if I didn't talk about the one-on-one service that my team also offers. So if there's anybody who's got some questions about licensing or starting up a new business, or needs just a little bit of help talking about or navigating city processes, we have a one-on-one service as well. So I believe the website, I should just know the website for that. I'm just going to look it up here. It's not embarrassing.
No.
If you search City of Edmonton, edmonton.ca, and you put one-on-one, you should be able to find it.
And is it the number 1-on-1 or written out?
Written out.
These are the hard-hitting questions you should expect.
O-N-E dash. I'm thinking too many numbers here.
O-N-E. Okay.
Yeah.
So O-N-E on one. And this is on the City of Edmonton website. So then business owners can go and actually take advantage of having someone give them that dedicated attention to kind of look over, see if there's anything that they should be including that perhaps they haven't.
So that's more for if somebody's got some questions about starting a business, or maybe they're moving into a new space and have some questions about building permits or development permits. That service can help you out there. But if you have questions about the grant, just email us at businessinfo@edmonton.ca.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yvonne, thank you so much. So we have a couple of minutes here. What else? I mean, sorry, you got to remember all these things that you're involved in. I mean, you must be just a wealth of knowledge for business here in Edmonton. So I just want to take advantage of the few minutes we have left. What other insights can you provide for our viewers, which are a lot of them are business owners?
What particular insights are you looking for?
All the secrets, Yvonne. We want to know
all the secrets. So many secrets, like where I stash my chips, and I guess specifically about my grants. The other grants that I work on are the Storefront Improvement Program and the Development Incentive Program. So those grants are particularly aimed at commercial buildings that are located within business improvement areas like the North Edge.
Okay.
So with the Storefront Improvement Program, there may be an opportunity for a business owner or property owner, if they want to fix up the front of their building, to get a little bit of financial support for that as well. Again, it's a matching grant. Unfortunately, that program, we've allocated all of our funds for this year, which is great. It means that a lot of buildings are getting fixed up. But of course, the downside is that I won't be accepting applications until early next year for anybody who wants to apply. That being said, if you are looking at doing a renovation project for next year and you want to contact me to just talk through your idea and see if it's a good fit, I'm always happy to chat about that. You can my email is directly on the website, just edmonton.ca/storefront improvement.
And that's awesome, because then, as many property owners, commercial development owners might be in the process of just the planning, it's good that they can kind of get in with you to understand what might they need to tweak to better to take advantage of that program. Yeah.
So my role is really to help business owners submit the strongest application you can. So I'm there to help with some design advice, or I have a review committee that goes through and reviews all the applications, so I can pick out some of the things. They always ask about signage, for example. What do your signs look like? So we can sort of troubleshoot some of that ahead of time, so that you can put your best foot forward.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Great. Well, Yvonne, on behalf of all business owners, thank you for being, so kind of accessible, I think would be the best word. It's just super impressive. I think a lot of us have these kind of misguided ideas of how accessible, the city would be for business owners, but learning about the one-on-one program, the storefront improvement program, the small business grant, I mean, that's huge. and just even hearing the success that you're having with the applications coming in. So, reminder to everyone, get your applications in weekly, Monday by 9 a.m. Is that correct?
Well, the application opens right at 9, so we can only accept a limited number every week, just because we only have a limited capacity to go through everyone's applications. So I always say, like, get in there right away, be ready to go at 9.
Yeah. Well,
and me and my team are happy to chat. So just get in contact with us. We're here to help.
Love that. Thank you so much, Yvonne. So everyone, that's Yvonne, and I want to make sure I said your last name right. Pronovost?
Close. It's Pronovost. The ST is silent. Yeah, it's French name.
Yeah, that's awesome. If I don't see a little accent, I never think to Pronovost. So anyway, Yvonne Pronovost with City of Edmonton, thank you so much. I'm going to ask you to stick around. We'll do like a little group chat at the end of the show. So I'm going to go ahead and welcome our next guest, but thank you again for so much information and really helpful guidance for business owners in Edmonton. I'm going to go ahead and welcome Raymond Robinson now, and we'll put you in the waiting room here, Yvonne. Don't mind me. Don't go anywhere. And Raymond, how are you?
Oh, I'm doing very good. Yourself?
Raymond Robinson with Mediashaker.
Yes.
How goes it? Tell us a little bit about what you've been up to, sir.
We've been up to a lot of interesting things. So we've seen a shift in our clients. So we've seen a lot more people more or as much as they can through the website or just in the cloud.
Now, I'm jumping right ahead and assuming that everyone, maybe for the few that don't know.
Oh, okay.
You do. I know. I'm just like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, no. Our company does website development. So we mostly work with a lot of small to medium-sized companies, people who they've quit their day job and they want to do their passion, and not-for-profits.
Okay.
And so our focus is to kind of help people figure out their ideal sales process and customer relationship process, because often it's in their head where everyone has their own version of it. Kind of get them to look at those are the basic things, and that leads to what we can then do for their website.
Okay, so for those that aren't maybe very techy, are you talking about helping people launch like online stores and that sort of thing?
Yes, just anything to do with their website. So depending on the nature of their business.
Okay.
So some people are, they're closing the deal on the web, so they're selling their product. Others, they're a service. It's just to get people to contact them.
Right.
And not-for-profits, it can just be, it's an association. It's just to create awareness for what they do.
I see. That makes sense. And now tell me, with the year going how it has, you must have seen a shift kind of in who was getting in touch with you. What kind of changes were you seeing in terms of what kind of projects you were working on, or a differing demand from the business community? Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so first as a group, we're kind of, a crisis is a terrible thing to waste. So what we do, sorry about that. So what we do is we just kind of stop, catch your breath. Do you have your balance? And now let's think about what to respond. So we kind of think about COVID-19 or things like that, is that when this finishes and is done, what are the outcomes going to be? And so we think that there'll be a shift away from cheap is a good thing to cheap is a standard for stress and disconnection, and kind of moving more towards celebrating excellent and what are you excellent at, and just the value of relationships and what has meaning to you and focusing on that. So we kind of go back to our customers with, are you more interested in these conversations? So when somebody comes to us, they're like, we'd like to do more of the web or more of our business on our website. What can we do? We kind of go through that process of, who are the people you want to connect with? How do you want to work? And it just changes the dynamic of the relationship. We've seen an increase in just more people wanting to do as much as they can with their website or to manage their company virtually. And so designing virtual processes are different from face-to-face ones, because in a virtual one, it's more like a checklist that inspires you to do your work rather than controlling it.
Right.
A lot of our medium projects would be the 8 to 15,000 are kind of gone quiet as people are waiting to spending return. So they've kind of slowed down doing things while their customers have gone away and they're waiting for things to come back.
Right.
And you see an increase in much smaller projects where people now want to freshen up their existing website or just start a new one.
I see. And so now, do you see a lot of people kind of, I guess, moving processes that weren't even, online before? Are they digitizing that? Is that limited to certain sizes of businesses? Or are you kind of seeing that across the board?
It's more across the board. And what's happening is just that how do we manage being consistent? And so it's a way where if people are working remotely, where we had stuff in our head, we just talked about it because I'm sitting right next to you. I just go, hey, what are you doing? Here it's like you're off by yourself somewhere. So I'm trusting you to know what you're doing.
Right. And I guess that speaks directly to, all the remote working, people working from home. A lot of people are talking about not necessarily returning back to, that bullpen environment anymore. So are you seeing kind of an impact of that, of people wanting to work remotely and manage remotely?
It's a blend of things. So one is where people, I'm not going back to the place I was at.
Right.
They're killing me. So that's causing some managers to go, oh, were you being, let's just say, rude to your employees? So you're treating them more like a thing than a person. That's caught up to you.
Mm-hmm.
Also, people feel like, life is very short. So what does matter to me? And now I'm going to do something about it. I'm prepared to risk because I'm already going through risk anyways. And
Right.
so it becomes a case of where that calamity just says, well, I might as well just go all the way with this and what's really important to me. So from business owners, it's more just how do we create the culture that people care about the company?
Mm-hmm.
And so we had clients who were kind of dabbling in that. Now they're much more serious about it. Some that did it are like grateful that they did it because now when they're working remotely, people already have something to be anchored to. And
Right.
so it's more a case of where the business is at and where they're trying to go and why, and then what can we do to help them.
So that's impressive. It's really, you guys have transcended typical website development, and essentially, if I'm understanding correctly, you're actually delving pretty deep into the anatomy of a business, how it's formulated, and then kind of extracting what are the must-haves for processes and then making them online. Is that
basically just, what are you really good at, why, and then how do you want to manage that being excellent consistently at what you do?
awesome?
And you're not going to create a 60-page handbook like, any of the major retailers have. So you need something simpler and easier. Nobody's going to read it, they'll fall asleep through it. The other thing is that the marketplace and your customers move very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
So I need things that help you be able to respond to people's changing concerns and kind of drive that within the people in your company. And so it's just more people getting more interested in their employees and their customers. And this kind of creates a way for them to look differently at how they manage it and do it.
Right. So let's take a step back. Now that we know kind of, what you guys have been working on, how that's changed a little bit. Tell me about, just even Mediashaker's office. I know you guys are just down the street from us. Did you guys stop working from the office? Was there tell me some of the changes that occurred kind of, in your home base there. How did this whole thing unfold for you guys this year?
So we did start working remotely from home. One of our employees, John, has one lung. So for him, he's really concerned about not getting COVID-19. There were just rules in place about people working, from home. There were a lot of people that come in and out of the office. So as a business, we've always been, if you're sick with the flu, stay home. Because if you bring it to everybody else, it's not very good. So we just kind of, we don't know what's going to happen, but we just trust that if you get it and it goes wrong, you're going to the hospital.
Right.
And you can't undo that. So we worked from home. Fortunately, we're a company where the nature of our work and the people that we hired, Dragon, who founded it, is someone who, if I have to babysit you, I don't want to work with you. So we had a lot of good people who were, actively really loving what they were doing. So it was easy for us to transition. And we have the servers, the software. So we had all the pieces together to just very quickly do it. So that kind of helped us. And some of the staff enjoyed working remotely because it gave them a chance to just not be interrupted during the day. Because, in our office, when you walk from one end to the other, a meeting can break out in the hallway. So sometimes that's good. And sometimes, use your inside voice. I'm trying to work. So it's been good and bad for everybody. We miss the interconnection of being in the same space. And there's times where collaboration remotely, like we're doing, can work. But there's other times where being in the same room with the same energy or shared makes it different into what you can do. So it's been its own interesting stuff. And with things, we just kind of work our way through as they come through.
That's great. Are you guys planning on going back to the office, or just kind of maintaining that work from home kind of?
We'll go back to the office. I think for me, because I also look at outside sales and putting, projects and things together, I can do a bit more of that, from home, just working on my phone, contacting people, trying to get hold of them.
Right.
So I think for the sales side, we're seeing that in some ways it's more efficient to be working from some of it from home than at the office. I think there are times where people feel like there's a big deadline coming up where working remotely means that they can finish and get it through. So I think we'll see a blend of where there might be more opportunities or times where people do work remotely, but I think everyone's looking forward to getting back into the office and just the collaboration of that.
Now, are you guys waiting for stage 3, is it? Or are you able to go back to the office now? Or you just kind of, do you have like a plan to return at a certain date?
We're kind of waiting on see what happens with stage 3. So although we're an essential business, we can do it. Everybody's kind of, they're a little bit nervous about it. And so we also respect every person's, where they are in their mindset. So Greg, who founded the company, had an individual conversation with everybody over just where are you at, what are you nervous about, what are you concerned about. So part of it is just that the staff feel like, they're okay, because there are a lot of people that can come in and out of the building. So we try to minimize that approach to it. So I think we're just looking at the numbers, and Alberta looked very solid for COVID-19. And I think probably just at the end of the month or beginning of August, everybody began to move back.
Right. And here's hoping we don't get that second wave that there are murmurs of, right? So, yeah. But if this isn't literally the definition of unable to control the uncontrollables, I don't know what would be. So, but that's kind of the environment we find a lot of business owners, are thriving in, because they're just so used to having to develop resilience to stress and not being risk adverse. So it's kind of dealing with those obstacles as they come. So now, looking forward, do you foresee any, changes in the business? Because it sounds like you guys are pretty well poised to be dealing with kind of whatever this year has been throwing. You're already working remotely. You've got kind of a good communication set up with your clients. What has changed for you guys?
It's not so much what's changed for us as what we're hoping is going to happen. So if you look at World War I, it was kind of a last stand for entitlement management. And so a lot of people who got killed in the war didn't want to go back and be in service, right? So there was a group of people who they enjoyed being in service for, entitled people that had land and property. And after World War I, you had the birth of the Industrial Revolution, changes in manufacturing, he had a bank loan. So it kind of changed the dynamic of where a lot of people didn't want to be in service and they wanted to have their own business and move away from those individuals. I think, this looks like a bit of a last stand for people who have been too busy and hoping that it won't be able to, if they're just busy enough, they can avoid the truth of their life. And so they're kind of living disappointed, avoid feeling disappointed.
I just want to, before we go too off into that, can you bring it back for a second and forgive me for being so honest, but what is this entitlement management thing you were mentioning from World War I?
So if you go back to World War I, right, and you look at prior to that, there were a lot of people who it was very much entitled property people that managed a lot of things and systems.
Oh, okay. So entitled
after the war
definition, like with
so
titled property. Okay.
So if we look at the last 10 years, everybody's been busy, running. So what we're thinking will come out of this is more of a conversation over what matters to you, and we're focusing more on the people who appreciate what you're excellent at, rather than just tracing every single customer.
Right.
So for us, when we're working with clients, it's like, what matters to you? What do you care about? They're much more open and interested in that conversation than they were last year.
It's true. Yes.
Right. And
Yeah.
we look at saturation points. So you can only have so many clients that you can work with in a day.
Mm-hmm.
And so who are the people you'd like to bring in? Like if you're a dentist, you can only deal with so many people. So you'd like to bring in people who appreciate what you do because they'll recommend you to their friends. They'll tell more people about it. So we're starting more of a conversation with people over who are the customers that matter to you, why, and what are we doing with your website or your business that helps you connect to them. So we're kind of leading with more of that conversation and seeing more people interested in help us through that because we don't know how to do it.
Well, that's exciting. Sounds like you guys are really connecting with business owners on almost an emotional level instead of just technical, and kind of getting to how they want their business to kind of be weaved in with their desired lifestyle. So that's really cool.
I think it comes back to connection and the importance of relationships. So I think hopefully COVID's got a lot of people going, I actually value friendships in ways that I forgot.
Well,
And
go 4 months without a hug, and then we all appreciate human interaction so much more, right?
Indeed.
Yeah. So listen, Raymond, I'm going to go ahead and add Yvonne back in, and then we can kind of do a group chat for the last little bit here. I think normally we have 3 guests, but there's always like a 2 out of 3 chance that that something comes up because life. So give me 1 second. I'm going to go ahead and add her in. And have you met Yvonne?
I don't think so, no.
Okay. Well, you're about to. Where is she? There she is. Yvonne, welcome back. Let me know when you can hear us, and I'll introduce you both.
I'm here.
I can't see you. There
we
you are.
I fixed it.
Yvonne, meet Raymond with Mediashaker. And Raymond, this is Yvonne. She's with the City of Edmonton, and she's kind of spearheading a grant program for small businesses that we just talked about at the beginning.
Okay.
So yeah, we like to do like a little kind of free chat, group chat, whatever at the end. While you guys go ahead and get acquainted, I'm going to take a quick look and see if we have any questions from the audience.
Okay.
We try to be, as engaging as possible. But let's see. So for those watching, because there's a bit of a lag, if anyone's watching, you have any questions for either Yvonne or Raymond, you have kind of send them now before we wrap up. No pressure. Yeah, but what an interesting show, because so Yvonne, I don't know if you were listening as we were chatting with Raymond, but just kind of learning more about how the vibe with business owners is changing a little bit when it comes to what their website is doing for them and kind of how they're approaching life, figuring out what's important for them, who are their, and Raymond, interrupt me if I'm kind of paraphrasing this wrong, but almost who their ideal client is and kind of their ideal work, and focusing on what really matters. And I think that's, if I've, grasped that correctly, it's that's been the pivot, if you will, that you're seeing throughout business owners, is kind of that shift in focus over to the really substantial priorities.
Well, it's always been there because we do a lot of small businesses, so that's kind of what got them going. But they're much more open to investing money in it, where before was like an expense. No, I'm okay with that. It's like, oh, actually, this is really important. We should do something about it.
Mm-hmm.
I think in some ways, some of the grants that are coming up or things that are going on, we're kind of giving people room to breathe, or just permission to themselves to invest money in ways that they might not have before. So back to that thing of moving away from, make it as cheap as you can, to actually, I want to make it the best it can be. Not perfect, because that's going to, cause you to fall off the edge, but just kind of get to the point where it's really excellent work that I'm proud of.
Right.
And we're seeing kind of more people that, how do I make that happen?
Mm-hmm. No, I think that's awesome. I really do. So sorry, folks. So we have, not sorry, whatever. We have a couple of highs and waves, but no questions. So for those that are tuning in for the first time, we'll be doing a follow-up with the information. So, if there's any links that you want us to post along with Mediashaker's info, Raymond, please send them along to me. Yvonne will be posting the information that you shared during our interview. And I'm going to ask one more thing of you both, just to do like a a smile for the camera. We're going to do like a group screen share screenshot. So 1, 2, 3. And there we go. Well,
Thank
folks,
you.
Unless you have anything for me, but I'd like to thank you both for making the time to show up on our humble little show and share such awesome information for business owners. For those that have been joining us, thank you for your support. You can catch our episodes on our YouTube channel, YEG Pivots. We go live on Facebook, on the Facebook page, YEG Pivots, every Thursday at 2:30 Mountain Standard Time. And if you're interested in registering for the show, please get in touch with either the Facebook page or North Edge Business Association. So thank you all for joining us. Thank you, Yvonne and Raymond, and everyone stay safe and be happy. Don't have a tagline yet. I'm working on it, but yeah, have a great weekend, everyone. Thank you again for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Stay safe.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.